Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways that you can create a background for your Keynote planners or notebooks. So in this video, you will be seeing me use Procreate and Keynote. So make sure you do have those 2 apps. And of course, you can use these backgrounds for anything. But before we get started, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I make new videos. Let's get started. So we're gonna use Procreate, so we're just gonna open that up, and I'm gonna go into my folder or my stacks, which is called backgrounds. So I have all my backgrounds in here. So I'm just going to show you guys some of the backgrounds that I use typically in my planners and my notebooks and all that stuff. So this is what I have. Like, I have something that looks more like a cheetah print here. I have something that looks like, you know, just some dots, abstract art. And I also have something that's more geometric, triangles, and I actually liked using this when I was doing my rainbow planner. I also have wooden textured backgrounds, so things that look more like wood. All right, so let's get started with number 1. So what we want to do is click on the plus sign at the top left and click on screen size. I like this size because it's really good for horizontal view. Now, if you're somebody who likes portrait view, all you have to do is use your 2 fingers and turn it around, or you can just customize the size. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do a Valentine's theme. You know, Valentine's coming up. So I want to do something that's really, really cute. So one of the things that I like to do is use inspiration. Now, Pinterest is my place for inspiration. If you're not following me on Pinterest, what are you really doing? What are you really doing? You need to follow me. I have amazing pins of gorgeous backgrounds, gorgeous wallpapers, and I love finding my inspiration from those. Either, you know, if it's the colors, it's the designs, the textures. I just love it. I just love it. I'm living. So I'm just looking at a few things to get some ideas. I'm liking some of the colors here. I'm liking some of the heart themes. And I'm like, okay, yes, I know what I'm about to do. This is definitely good for someone who's, you know, a beginner and you're not sure exactly where to start. Definitely look on Pinterest for your inspiration photos. Now, after looking on Pinterest, I've got a lot of ideas, and I think I'm gonna do something with hearts. So now I'm just going into my color palettes and trying to pick out a beautiful color. Make sure that when you're going to do your art, you're on a new layer. And now I'm just going to pick the inking brush, and it's called Studio Pen. This is like my favorite pen to use. So since we're in the Valentine's theme, I'm just creating some hearts, and I'm creating hearts with different designs. So one of the hearts is filled in, and one of them is this heart that I like to do that's like connected. I don't know what to call this kind of a heart, but I like doing this. And so I just wanted to have some variation, you know, I don't want it to look exactly the same for the look that I'm trying to create. And of course, this is all just creating flow and just being you. Like, there's no pressure, just do what you want. So what I'm doing here is separating each heart because I realized that I want them to be on separate layers. So just click on the lasso tool, make sure you're on freehand and draw your circle. Go to the action section, all the way down, do cut and paste. And this will allow you to have a separate layer. So if I go into the layers, you'll see that it is on a separate layer now. And I'm just going to duplicate, and, you know, just put them wherever I feel it's right, wherever I feel it's flowing, it looks cute. This is all to your preference. So all I'm doing here is separating them and duplicating them and putting more and more hearts until I feel my heart is content. All right, so now that I've copied a whole bunch of hearts to my page, I'm gonna make it look more unique by just tilting them to the left a little bit or to the right. This will make the hearts not all look like they're pointing in the same direction. Now, if you're wondering why my canvas is tilted, it's because I'm right-handed and I really feel more comfortable when I'm drawing with the canvas like this. Usually I'll just tilt my whole iPad, but for the purposes of this video, I'm tilting the canvas. Okay, so now that we're done tilting, I'm going to turn it upright and see if I like it. And yes, it's looking cute, but it is not gonna stay this way. We are going to add color. So I wanna add a few more color options, like maybe a darker red, a darker pink, just to make it, you know, more unique. So what I'm doing here is going to my palettes, just on the top left, click on the circle, and at the bottom you'll see something that says palette. Now there's different options of ways that you can choose color, but this is what I like to do because I have lots of palettes in my Procreate app. And what I do is I put a block of color, I just fill it in with whatever color, and I will create a clipping mask. Now that is super simple to do. Just fill in that layer with color, click on it, and click on clipping mask. Say that 3 times fast. Another way to change the color of the hearts is to create that layer, click on clipping mask, and then choose your color. So now I'm choosing a different color here. And then I'm gonna drag it in. Now only the heart gets colored. All right, you guys, so it is coming together. Look at this beautiful heart looking thing. So I just added a different color just to, you know, lighten up the background a little bit more. But now is the fun part. We are going to merge it all. All you gotta do is use 2 fingers, pinch together, and merge. Look at that. So now that they're all together, we are going to make it smaller and we're going to duplicate it. So click on that arrow, make it small, then go back to your layers, slide towards the right and duplicate. Click on the arrow and move that duplicated layer up a little bit or down a little bit, wherever you want it to go. Super simple. So I noticed that as I was duplicating, one of my hearts got chopped off and cropped at the bottom. All you gotta do is go to your eraser tool and erase it. We wanna make sure that we are not crossing the border. And you'll see why when we get into Keynote. So just make sure that all the borders are not getting cropped, all the hearts are not getting cropped. Okay, so now that we're done, I see that there's a little empty spot right here. So I'm going to do one more duplication and I'm going to place it directly on top of that empty spot. And I'm just gonna see what hearts I want to be there. Yes, I think this would be good. And use your eraser tool to erase the other hearts around it. So make sure that it's only the hearts that you want to be there. And a good way to check is by going back to the layer to make sure that everything is erased but what you wanted to be there. So as you can see, when I go into the layer, only 2 hearts are there. So perfect. It looks good. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so cute. I love that some of the hearts are filled in and some of them are kind of empty inside. I really love this look. So we're going to click on our share button and go to either PNG or JPEG. PNG is a lot larger, so sometimes I like to save as a JPEG because it flattens the whole image. So you can see that it's a lot of a smaller file. Then just go down and click Save Image. All right, now we're gonna go into Keynote and we are going to open up one of my journals here. I have my bullet journal. So I'm gonna tap on the screen to go to Master Slide because this is where I usually like to put my backgrounds. Click on the plus sign and click on Photo or a Video. And you're going to select the first image. Now there's 2 ways that you can place the image. Either just by expanding it so that it reaches all the corners of that slide, or you can leave it as it was and just copy and paste it so that you can put it on the other blank section. So this is why it was important that we did not cross the borders so that it can make a more seamless look. And so now what you'll do is zoom out completely, and you're going to double tap on that second layer. That will help you to remove the part that is not seen. And so basically you're just editing that layer's mask so that that part is what you want to see. And oh my gosh, you guys, it is so, so cute. I am in love with this background. What do you think? Leave a comment down below. Also make sure that you have grouped those two parts together so it makes one image. So you can see I just selected both. That way it's one piece. Oh my gosh, you guys, as I'm making this, I'm like, this is too cute. I have to give it to you guys. So I'm going to make it a freebie. So make sure you look in the description box below. I will link this and the other two that we're going to do in the description. You can also use these as a wallpaper on your iPad, whether you want to use it as your lock screen, your home screen, or both. This will definitely appear so gorgeous. Look at that. You did that. You did that. Awesome. All right, now let's do the second one. Once again, when you're in your gallery, go to the top left, click on the plus sign, and click on the screen size. So now we're going to make something that looks more like a wooden background. We're going to be working with some brown tones. So the first brown tone you want is like a lighter background. So make sure that's on a separate layer. Now add a new layer and click on a darker brown color. So now go to the inking brush and click on Studio Pen. This is my favorite one. We're gonna go to that wrench, which is actions, click on canvas, click on drawing guide, make sure it's on, and we are going to edit the drawing guide. Now make sure it's really large because we're gonna use these lines to make our wooden planks. This helps you to make your wooden planks evenly distributed so it's not too far apart and it looks more straight. Now this line I made was a little too thick, so we're gonna lower it down, make it a little thinner. That looks about right. So what you wanna do is off of the canvas, start the line, as you can see, and hold it once again off the canvas on the other side. That makes the line straight. So you can see I cannot make straight lines to save my life. So this little trick helps a lot. So now we're going to turn off the drawing guide because that's all we needed it for. And we have our 3 lines. So what we're going to do now is use the move tool and just move it down a bit just to make sure that they're evenly separated. And now we're just going to make just natural organic lines because you know wood is very like wavy and the lines aren't straight. The only thing we needed straight was the planks. But now we can just do everything pretty much freehand. So I'm going to start off with another darker brown color, and then we're going to start marking off some areas that are darker in the wood and some parts are lighter. So I'm using one of the airbrush tools and I'm going to make them sort of big. Another cool tip is that if you use the side of your Apple Pencil, it gives you more of a kind of smudged look. So I'm just using the side of my Apple Pencil to kind of smudge it here and there with a darker color. And once again, I'm using the airbrush pen or the airbrush brush. So I'm going to use now the smudge tool and kind of smudge it out a little bit. And you know, once again, you can use the side of your Apple Pencil kind of at an angle. That really helps to smudge it out even better and even more. Okay, now I'm going back into my color palette and choosing a darker brown, and I'm just going to do the same thing with the same steps, just using a different darker brown color. It's, you know, it's really supposed to look like wood, you know what I mean? So there's certain parts of the wood that are darker than others and certain parts that are lighter than others. So in order to create a more of a wood effect, we need to do this. So now we're going to create our wood grain. We're gonna go back to the inking brush and make sure we're using Studio Pen, and we're going to make sure that it's very thin, okay? Because this is the grain. So this, like I said, does not have to be straight. Just make random lines going across and just make a couple of them, maybe on the first plank. And we're just going to duplicate and duplicate these lines to make the grain of the wood. Feel free to stretch them, overlap them, turn it around, do whatever you want in this section because this is gonna really help the wood to look more organic. So I was just playing around with the snapping settings to make sure that it stays exactly at 90 degrees or 180 degrees. I didn't want it to like turn completely, but yeah, so that's what I was doing. So now I'm merging the whole thing. I'm just going to name it grain and I'm going to lighten it up. So we're going to make sure the opacity is really light. Look at that, guys. OMG, it's starting to look like wood. I'm excited, you guys. Okay, can't get too excited yet. We're almost done. So we're going to use another darker brown color once again, and we're going to go on top of those darker areas that we created earlier and just create like some nice darker wooden grain. You know, there's certain areas that are like super dark and there's like lines going around it. We're trying to mimic that same thing. Remember, it doesn't have to be 100% perfectly straight or anything like that. We want these lines to look organic. If you need inspiration or help on creating these grain lines, just look at your floor planks. If you have a lighter wood and it has those darker elements, just look at it for your inspiration. Or you can even look at the wood outside, honey. Come on, there's wood all over the place, okay? You can find your inspiration and use that as a way to create your background. All right, so now I'm just zooming in and trying to connect those lines that didn't connect just right and erasing parts that I don't really like and making sure that everything looks great. And so as you see me doing, I'm using 2 fingers to tap on the screen, which is undo if I don't like how something is done, and 3 fingers tap is redo. So just in case you deleted something by accident, you can just redo really super quickly. Honestly, you guys, we're looking good. We're looking like wood. We're looking like wood, okay? We're looking good. Please tell me if you guys do this. Like, look how small I'm zooming out. I just like have to see what it looks like from afar and from up close. I just have to see, you know, what it's looking like. Please tell me if you guys do this too. Once again, we're going to export it as a JPEG image. Now, of course, this is up to your preference, but I pretty much like using JPEG because it flattens the image and it's much less bulky when I'm saving it in my photos because I am going to just be using it as a background or wallpaper. So if you're doing something more high quality, yes, use PNG. That'll keep the image nice and crispy, looking beautiful. Whether you zoom in or out, it will always look nice. So, you know, it depends on what you're doing. But for the purposes of this video and what I'm doing here, I'm just going to use JPEG. Okay, so this is what it's looking like, you guys. It is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Now I'm going to show you a different way you can lighten up the wood if it's too dark for your liking. So to do this, I'm just going to delete what I had behind the other layers and, you know, just place it where you want it to be. Go into that little paintbrush and go to style and click on the opacity. Make sure that it's, you know, a little bit lighter, not too light, but you want it to be maybe at around 70, 60. And I like doing this because I feel like it makes the planner pop more than the background. Sometimes it kind of clashes. So you want to make sure that it's a little bit lighter. Now, I kind of think the darker one matches this one. So, you know, it's up to you, your preference. In my planner, I have a different kind of wood that I made, the wood that I showed you way in the beginning of this video, and I just love how it lets my planner pop on top. All right, so let's do the third background. The third background is basically going to be a more abstract design. So it's not really going to be organic like the wood that we made earlier or the themed sort of background, which was more like hearts and stuff. We're gonna make something that is fun. We're gonna play around with different textures, different colors, and see what works together. So I love these kinds of backgrounds because they always come together looking awesome. And I'm just like, ooh, I did that. It looks good. And it's something that nobody else can make because it came from your creativity. For this one, we're gonna need a neutral background color. So I'm gonna use this color right here and pull it in. So since I love pink, I'm going to start off with a pink color, and I feel like pink always gets me in the mood to start creating. And then later on, I can always change it to whatever color I like. Now this is where the fun begins. You can play around with different sizes, different textures. I'm using one of the paint brushes here. So I really like this look, and I'm just going to continue to play around with it until I see I like it and layer it with different things. What I love about these abstract designs is that you're not right or wrong. You're just doing it to please your inner creativity, and that's it. There's no pressure. There's nothing saying that it has to be this certain way. It just looks beautiful because you did it with all your heart. So this is what I'm talking about. I created these dark pink blobs and I didn't like them, so I just tapped the screen to erase them, and I decided to do little circles. Here I go again, zooming all the way out to see if I like it. And then I'm just going to merge everything, especially those little dots, to make them all one. And what I like to do is create a little background, like a white shadowing, to make the color pop out more. So what I'm going to do is, in that back one, I'm going to create a clipping mask that is white, and I'm going to merge it down. Then I'm just going to use that moving tool and slightly move it to the side. That way it makes those darker circles pop out more. Okay, so now we're going to export the file. I just want to show you one more time. As you see, if I do a JPEG, it's about 700 KB, whereas if I did a PNG image, it would be 4 megabytes. My goodness, that's a big file. So we're going to do JPEG, and we're going to save image. So that means it saves to your photos. Then we go into Keynote, tap on the screen to click on Edit, Master Slide, delete the old background, and add the new one. Yeah, you guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I make new videos. Remember, all of these backgrounds will be found in the link in the description box below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.